I knew something was wrong when a little pretty white girl ran into a black man's arms. Something is wrong here. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Charles, thank you very much.
Dead giveaway.
Thank you very much for your time. And
either she homeless or she got problems. That's the only reason why she run to a black man.
Charles, thank you for being there.
All right. So I got some shout outs that I need to do. But before I do that, there's a show or a movie coming out called Batgirl. Now, the actress, I have nothing against her. I don't remember what she played in, but I'm pretty sure she played in some stuff in order for her to get this role. There was a Batgirl, Batwoman series, and there was a brown girl who played this said black woman, black girl. It's like, in order to get roles, people have to do certain things that seems like it's attractive to the industry. Now this woman that I'm talking about that was in the series, she replaced a woman that wasn't brown. The woman that wasn't brown, you would know her from John Wick. She was the deaf girl that was protecting that one guy that John Wick, had to go kill, because John Wick told him in the beginning of the movie, don't ask me to do anything. And that dude wanted John Wick to kill that dude's sister. And so John Wick, he did what he had to do, and he was like, you fucked up my shit. Now you gotta go. But the girl that was protecting him was deaf. And that same girl was the original Batgirl, Batwoman that was in this series. I forgot which platform, but it might have been that HBO Max, or it could have been Disney, because Disney has DC and Marvel. So I forgot which one it was, but anyway, the thing is, it's like, since the girl did the series, since she did the series, why couldn't she do this role? I don't know, man. Maybe she didn't want to do the role. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, she did a good job. So, like I said, I don't have anything against this new girl, but do me a favor. If you're going to watch this new Batgirl, go back and try and find the other Batgirl, watch that series. I think it was only like 2 seasons. It's like, the things that the creators wanted her, the developers, the producers wanted her to do, it's like, why? Why does she have to do this stuff in order to play in this role? Why do you have her character doing this stuff? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's 2 things that bothers me when they cast brown people. They put them in interracial relationships, especially the women, and then it's like, when they write these roles, or when they play these roles, it's like, you're doing stuff that we just don't do as a people. Now mind you, out of everything that we do, and out of the things that we don't do, it seems like we're boring compared to the things that other people do. I mean, just look at TV. If it wasn't for other people, we wouldn't know as much as we do about these creatures and these deep sea and deep space. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much we've helped with that stuff, it's like those people are the ones that actually get down there where it's dangerous. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know how many brown people have been in exploration or exploratory, what do you call it, like submarines, you know, those little small ones. Or I don't know how many brown people have been in space to explore space. We've had some folks go up to the space stations, but you know, it's like, anyway, it's like they do stuff that we just don't do. But in these movies, the writers, you know, they write us, I mean, they make these roles to where we look stupid, man. And it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. And I would hope that, you know, these actors and actresses would choose better roles. It's like Denzel Washington has chosen, you know, has been picky about his roles. Sam Jackson has been picky about his roles. And the two of them also have been doing what they've been wanting to do. Either, you know, it be plays, you know what I'm saying, to get that immediate, you know, when you're on stage, you know, the audience is going to give you that emotion, you know what I'm saying, is right there. And the actors, they're going to feed off of that, and it lets them know how good or how bad they're doing on stage. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's jobs out there for actors and actresses. So it's like they don't have to settle for these roles that make us look like them, like people who are not brown. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, I don't like the stereotype, the profile, you know, that they make brown folks, you know, it's like drug dealing, calling each other B's and N's and hoes and whores, you know what I'm saying, stuff that you would see in the music videos, you know what I mean, like I say, drug dealing, hanging out on the block, killing each other, you know, that gang life. You know, we do more than that. And then when they give us a role where we're doctors and lawyers or we're in those other professions, you know, they mix it with being single parents, you know, some kind of struggle. And it's like, man, if you're gonna put out a movie, well, if there's a genre for the struggling parent, then there should be a genre for a single parent that doesn't struggle. There's a genre for, you know, single parents looking for love, and there should be a genre for single parents who's like refusing to get back into a relationship, not because they have been scorned, not because, you know, relationships just don't work for them. Make it be by choice. You know, be like, yo, I mean, tired of the 50-50 situations, tired of meeting someone and going through the whole cycle, you know what I'm saying, of puppy love, lust, infatuation, all that shit, just to find out that, you know, this person is not right for you. And then when you waste time, you know what I'm saying, I don't care if it's 5 months to a year, but when that person's gone, they're gone, and that time is gone as well. You know what I'm saying? So they just choose to be single, and they're happy. You know, they may have a lover or two, and their lovers, you know what I'm saying, or lover, know that this person is on that level, and, you know what I'm saying, and maybe their lover, no, not maybe, but their lover is like on that level too, or lovers is on that level too. You know what I mean? What about movies about nudity, like nude beaches, you know, the nudist? You know what I mean? What about, there's some taboos that don't harm anyone. You know what I'm saying? So what about those roles? You have wrestlers, brown wrestlers. For one, they know how to do scripts as far as the plot. Give them a plot, you know what I'm saying, give them some direction, and they'll play that shit out. You know what I mean? They already are physical, so they know how to take some bumps and handle some bruising type situations. So you got your action stars. You know what I mean? You got your running gun, you know what I'm saying? Espionage, save the world, save the city, save the neighborhood. And then on top of that, speaking of neighborhood, there should be a genre where, you know, people are working together to create a whole better neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? It's like two people sitting at a table and they're like, man, you know, we should make a garden. A community garden? Yeah, a community garden. It's like, well, which yard? You're like, well, Mrs. Sycamore has a great yard. She gets a lot of sun, and her grass and everything looks so fertile. So let's go talk. And then Mrs. Sycamore, you know, she might be, you know, a little hesitant, but she's like, it's going to be for the community? Yeah, it's going to be for the community. I'm like, you know, and she can reminisce about when she was a kid and when her parents was sharecroppers or whatever the fuck. You know, it's like, put the community together. You know what I mean? And there's more than one race in neighborhoods, but they're all in like the same tax bracket. You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, and financial bracket. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, won't you make movies where people, you know, get their community together? You know what I'm saying? What about movies where you have block parties and no one gets hurt? You know what I'm saying? It's like the whole movie is about, you know, they get together, they sit back and they're chilling. You know what I'm saying? It could be a house party. It could be a small little block party. You know what I'm saying? Where you just chilling on someone's front porch and, you know, watching the kids play in the yard and you're playing music and shit and you're barbecuing in the front yard. You know what I mean? Or it could be a backyard get together. And it's like, man, you know, when you go dump the trash and the neighbors are like, it's smelling good back there, y'all. We need to get together over at my place sometimes. Or next time you have a get together, let us know. You know, shit like that. And it's like, you know, in real life, there's people who are known for throwing a house party, and you know, people from the neighborhood, they'll come through. You know what I'm saying? They don't need to bring any food. You know what I mean? They might need to bring some beverages, things like that. But you know, it's like the family that lived there. You know, they're always cooking and barbecuing. You know, they're taking. You know, it's like that family. The mother and dad might, you know, do the DJing, do the hosting, and then their brothers and sisters may do all the cooking. You know what I'm saying? Like the dad may have 2 great cooks in his family, and then the mom might have 2 great cooks in her family, and they just alternate. So it's like the neighborhood don't need to bring food. You know what I'm saying? You got 4 cooks that's going to alternate, you know what I'm saying, each week, each night, or whatever the fuck. It's like there's so many things that we can put in these movies. You know what I mean? That's like, it can make us look better. Plus, it'll give the idea that, you know, we can do this in real life. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, for these places that's so violent and there's so much shooting and death, you know, make movies to where they're solving the problem. So we can start giving people some motivation to solve the problems in real life. You know what I mean? We gotta end the senseless violence. And it's like, yo, let's put it in the movies. Because people like a good movie. You know what I mean? When it comes down to comedy, people are naturally funny. So we don't need a comedy genre. When it comes down to romance, in this day and age, fuck romance. We got too much shit to do. Romance is done behind closed doors somewhere. You know what I mean? You can tell somebody's fucking just by the way they're clinging on to each other. You know what I mean? their love life is good, they're smiling, they happy, you know what I'm saying? And they just can't keep their hands off each other, shit like that. So it's implied. You know, you can just walk by and be like, go get a room. Or you can sit back and be like, hey, where's Janice and Terrell? And somebody be like, yeah, I saw them heading towards the laundry room. Like, man, there they go. You know what I mean? So it's implied. It don't need to be in the movie as in, heavy breathing and people listening at the door and shit like that. No, it don't need to be that. You know what I mean? The kids don't need to hear all that shit. You know what I'm saying? We need movies and entertainment that's going to bring families together and watch movies together. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, it's going to be a great movie on tonight, or you know, whatever night. So we are going to get together. And I'm letting you know right now so you don't make any other plans. You know what I'm saying? Check your school calendars, things like that. No, y'all don't have anything to do that night at school. You know what I mean? So it's I know this is supposed to be a shout out and things like that, but it turned into, you know, it's about entertainment and it's about bringing families together so they can watch some good entertaining stuff. You know what I mean? I remember we used to have talent shows in the living room. You know what I'm saying? Look at all the funny things that our pets do. You know what I mean? So it's like, come, we can't pull the family together and have pet talent shows in the hood. You know what I mean? How come we can't get together and people get their animals together and be like a community dog training day, cat training day, things like that? You know what I'm saying? How come we can't show stuff like that and call it entertainment? Let it be entertainment. Like I said, give people a reason to come together. And whenever they're watching this entertainment, you know what I mean? It's like, yo, they'll walk away from that moment like, man, we gotta do this more often. Man, I wanna try the things we saw on that show. You know what I'm saying? My dog is bad as hell. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I can finally train his ass and make these movies to where it's like, it helps the people who think they can't do it in real life. You know what I'm saying? Let it go into detail so that there's a blueprint that a person just didn't think about. You know what I'm saying? Social issues. People who don't know how to talk to other people. These love languages. You know what I'm saying? The reason why people argue. Or I'm talking about going back and forth with each other. Having that conversation. And it might get, you know, one person, you know, they don't yell, but their voice gets a little high pitched. You know what I'm saying? What do you mean? No. And the other person's like, don't yell at me. You know, it's like a lot of people don't like to go to therapy, but they will sit down and watch TV. You know what I'm saying? Watch a movie. You know what I mean? And then the music industry. As far as music goes, we need people to be writing music about these things that are going on in life. Like I say, about communication. How come somebody isn't putting a song together where it's like R&B, whether it's blues, whether it's jazz, whether it's country, out of whatever genre, and spell out how to work these problems out? You know what I'm saying? You and your cousin aren't getting along because one person's thinking this, the other person's thinking that. Put that in words, in lyrics, and spell it out to people in a couple songs. You know what I'm saying? Part 1 and part 2. You know what I mean? We like a good continuation. Look what R. Kelly did with that Trapped in the Closet. Look what the music is when it comes down to two-stepping. You know what I'm saying? Step in the Name of Love. Part 1 and part 2 type shit. You know what I mean? This is for the steppers. On that last song, we learned how to do this. Now on this song, we're going to do this. And at the end of it, be like, now stay tuned for the next song, because when it come out, we're going to do this. You know what I mean? So it's like, we need to keep captivating ourselves so that way One, we keep ourselves out the street. You know what I'm saying? Two, if we are going to be out in the street, we'll go out in as a community. We'll go out in numbers. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, bring back the Black Panthers. You know what I mean? Give them another name though. Just call them the Panthers or something like that. And take the idea of what was going on for community and self-defense. You know what I'm saying? We need people who know how to read, that can break down all these laws and things like that, you know what I'm saying? And who know how to find the loopholes and educate people, because we need to have those 2 or 3 times a week, you know what I mean? Classes on that, you know what I mean? So that way we're not illiterate when it comes down to, you know, our rights as people. As a community, we can do this shit together. You know what I'm saying? Look at how many people will go to church 3 or 4 times a week. You know what I'm saying? Or 2 or 3 times a day. You know, you go in the morning, come back home, eat breakfast, chill out for an hour or two, and then you're going back to church. And then you have lunch at church, and then you come home, and you have enough time to get yourself, you know, make sure the kids' homework is done, to make sure you're caught up on your laundry. You know what I mean? And then boom, you head back out, and you get back to the house about like 8 or 9 o'clock. So that way the kids can get them some good sleep. You could get some good sleep. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, back to this Batgirl thing. Like I say, you know, when it comes down to Batgirl, I think we could create our own Batgirl. We don't need all that money to make the cinematography look like Hollywood's. We can do it better. Look at all these talented YouTubers and talented content creators. You know what I'm saying? You got folks that are already working with cinematics. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, let's work with what we got. We can make animations. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, let's make AI work for us. You know what I mean? But still, I'm going to get off of here. Once again, I got passionate about the topic, and I started going left, right, up, down. But still, my disclaimer, I'm not the smartest person, and I'm not the dumbest person. I've done some research on some stuff, and there's a lot of shit that I need to do research on. I just don't trust the sources that I have to use to research these different topics that I think about. What I need you to do is to question everything that I'm talking about. Do your own research on the things that I'm talking about, and form your own opinion on these things that I'm talking about. And then, lastly, the most important thing is to share your opinions with other people. Please share it with me. We can have conversations. You know what I mean? Share with other people, period. It's like you never know when someone's going to come across your thoughts and your opinions and going to be like, wow, about time that someone is feeling the way that I feel. You know what I mean? And then they'll hit you up and be like, man, what did you go through in order to think the way that you think? Or anything like that, you know what I'm saying? You can help brighten somebody's day. But I'm going to get out of here. Want you to have a good day, want you to have a good night, want you to have a good morning. Peace.
Give them prayer hands, say what's up America. Half of you should know me, right? Other half a replica. Shout out to my